What's going on, people? Hi, I'm just getting set up here. All right, well that worked, so that's good. We're gonna have to crunch some textures. I'm sure people have updated texture maps and stuff. Processing texture. All right. Okay, so we want to process some more textures on this level. So let me do that. Oh. What a dog shit frame rate we are getting right here. Well, it is a debug build, so I'm not too worried. Yet. I'm making a note for myself about something totally different. Is this Battle Royale? Well, I mean, surviving in the games industry is kind of Battle Royale, right? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so what's going on today is the following thing. We this is going to suck in debug build. I might have to, well, let's see. So we have levels that wrap in this game, and they're not only wrapping, but they're multi-level. So there's upstairs, downstairs, toggle. How many entities do we have here? 2,000. Anyway. So we can toggle upstairs, downstairs, and when we do that, all these entities are in the world at the same time, but you know, some of them are excluded from consideration and others are included. So here I'm clicking through the top level and, you know, clicking the bottom level, and so only what you see is like active in the selection, right? When we do this wrapping thing, we basically just draw the world 9 times. And we do not handle that. So if I click over here, I can't click. And if I click over here, I can't click because we're drawing replicas of the world, but they're not actually there. But if I click here on the middle one, I can click, right? Let me see if I spend the extra couple seconds for an LLVM build, how much faster that runs. it might be time to go do some register allocation in the x64 backend thinger. I think this is probably a little better. Yeah. So I can't click here, but I can here. Seems like if I click too fast in between frames, we miss it sometimes, which is bad. That should have never happened. So we're going to want to deal with that. That's not good. Anyway. So that's what we've got going on today. And actually, I can debug this if I want it to be fast. I can do it on this level, which doesn't have as much stuff, and so should be correspondingly more responsive. I mean, the frame rate is still not awesome right now, but it's better. Okay. Local. I think that's what this is, yeah. So we're going to start up on this level. Hopefully the editor saves these state variables. And so there's going to be actually two steps to this task. So the first step is, if I click on one of these wrapping versions of the worlds, I just want to be able to select that entity, right? But then once I do click on something, what happened? Oh, I just can't see the selection because it's blending. The color is blending into the, oh no, it's because why? Somebody changed selection behavior so it's less visible. What? Let me send an email about that. All right. So I've sent that email asking people what's going on. Deleting some emails. Okay. Did it work on the other level? Whoops, I'm in the wrong window. Well, I doubt it would be any different, but nope, it's always fading. This is correct behavior for certain cases, like when certain panels are open, we actually want that to happen. Like, because like if you're editing material properties, for example, if this panel's open, then this is supposed to happen because you want to see what the material looks like, right? And the gridding often gets in the way of that. So we do intentionally turn it off in some cases, but it's happening all the time now, which is not good. Anyway, that is not what we came here to do. Okay, so I want to be able to click on all these things. Now, when you're playing the regular game, whoops. When you're playing the regular game, like, see, I can just keep going across the map. And so we do draw things. Well, I mean, I guess we also draw it wrapping in the editor, right? But the way that we do that is making another note. We basically just iterate 9 times, and we have a variable for what's the offset at which we're rendering the entities, and then we just render them with that offset. And so in the editor, I think we would just be doing the appropriate loop similar to that when you click on a thing, and we do a raycast test. And then we'll have to decide what to do about the selection widget. Oh, what I was going to say is the following thing. You know, we have this selection widget that you can use to like drag things around or whatever, and you know, all these, right? So, whoops. You know, you can manipulate things. So right now, we always draw this only on the central one. And it's like a separate thing from the raycast testing, right? So if I were to click on this thing over here, even if we selected it, the widget would show up on this one. And you can't see that yet because we can't even select it yet. But so that's kind of a separate thing. And then the question is, do we draw the widgets on all of them? Maybe we do. Or maybe we just save the offset that we selected into and use that and just draw one widget. I'm not actually sure what is the best policy. Have I seen the new Unity and its prefabs? It pretty much solves that. What problem? What problem are you talking about? All problems, oh, of course. Unity solves all problems. The problem with trying to get into the game industry. All right. Why are level parts repeated? Because that's what they're not actually repeated. It's just that it's a wrapping world. And the way we do that is by rendering things side by side. You can't ever see, in the gameplay, you can't ever get out this far where you can see these edges. And so it would seem like an infinitely looping world if you're in it. The selection over different objects or having, no, that doesn't have anything to do with this, as far as I know. How did the new Lenovo laptop turn out? It sucks. It's terrible. Don't buy it. It's awful. I'm very sad that I bought that laptop. And yet, I still don't know what I could get that's better. So, yeah. We're not, okay. We're not cloning the whole world, first of all. These aren't separate entities out here. They're the same. We're just drawing the same thing 9 times, right? Secondly, why do it 9 times if you're only on the edges? Well, that's an optimization, right? And so, yes, one thing that we could do is notice where you are and only draw the things that are on the screen in the area that you need to make it seem that way, right? But in the editor like this, you're often just flying around and have an arbitrary viewpoint, and you're often in like a zoomed back view like this. And so doing that kind of optimization isn't going to help for a case like this. So you end up making your code more complicated and harder to deal with, and not actually any better in terms of behavior. Now, during runtime in the game, it would help actually performance-wise, and especially with all the frickin' entities people are adding. And so we probably will end up doing that. But for now, it is what it is. What platforms are we targeting? I don't know. I don't know. You like having widgets appear next to the mouse pointer? I don't understand how that makes sense. Oh, you mean like if I click on a very big mesh, like this, that instead of the origin of the mesh, it would use... This is a very weird exception because it's like a big mesh and it's weirdly offset from its origin. For most things, it's actually kind of valuable information where the 0 point is on it. Because that's the point, for example, that you rotate around by default and whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know. It really doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about today. So you use color coding to select stuff? No. No, selection and color don't have anything to do with each other. This is a draft level that you're seeing right here, and so the colors on it are just, they're just a sketch of like what things will eventually look like. You see no usable issue to select all the object copies. There are no object copies. There are no object copies. There's just one. There's just one of everything. Okay. We're just drawing it multiple times. There's just one of each of these things. What is on the agenda for today? I literally just said for 10 minutes. They're not replicates. They're nothing. There's literally no state associated with those other things. Yeah, chat is especially trolly today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to deal. Let me get a drink and then we'll start actually doing work. Pear like the fruit is banned. It's not anything to do with managing memory. It's that there is no memory associated. That's not well managing memory. It's a different thing. Okay. So let's do this. I'm just going to go to here and I'm going to say where is it? Okay. So we do this thing where we collect offsets based on like we're not even trying to be that optimal about it. We make this array. It's an array of vector 2s that are all the different offsets at which we're going to draw the worlds. We decide which offsets to put things in, right? So somebody was asking about optimizing. If we're in the editor, we just draw them all. If we're not in the editor, then we do some stuff to just very coarsely decide which things to draw so that we end up drawing, you know, maybe 4 instead of 9 usually, right? And then we add all these offsets, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to factor this out into a function because we're going to want to call this from the editor to do selection. So I'm going to say offsets is just get world wrapping offsets for the entity manager. Okay. So get world wrapping offsets. Returns an array of vector 2 in temporary storage. Yeah. We don't really need to get the camera control until here, I think, so we'll clean that up while we're doing this refactor. All right. So something like that. Oh, we're trying to use camera, which we didn't. Where does that come from? Wow, this is a big routine. Oh, it's just that. SY. Wait. Oh, that they want out here. Like we factored out the definition of this thing. So we have to replace it. Okay. We're making sure we didn't break anything. We also, in worlds like this, when we load a level, We don't put the camera in a good place. So I'm putting that on the to-do list. Okay. Well, we still see everything. So that's good. That is what we want to see. It's not surprising we didn't do anything complicated right there. But yeah. Okay. So now that we have this, of course, we can use it. What did we call it? Get world wrapping offsets. Now I'm getting cold in here. Got to close the window. Okay. We want to go into editor. What file? Probably entity panel. Is this? Get basis vectors. Update manipulation. Find entity under cursor is the thing. Okay. So here's what we do is we're just going to say offsets is get world wrapping offsets from manager. Okay, so then we're going to pass an offset into here. Where is find by segment? Where does that live? Why doesn't this just save? It'd be great if Windows wouldn't reboot itself all the time and I would have my data here. Find by off what? Find by segment. Okay. Now, actually, instead of passing it as a parameter, I believe I should just be able to offset the ray origin. Right? Because it's just relative. So let's try that. Oh. Don't want to do that. Okay, that's probably wrong. Oh, it's a vector 2. Right. What did I call it? Is it 2vec3? Yeah. 2vec3. I probably screwed it up. Okay, we're still picking the initial object okay. That's no surprise. And these are not working at all. Oh, you know, we might not actually... I suspect we're not getting more than one offset back, which I'm not sure about why that would be. Dude, Windows can... Whoops. No, that's not... Dude, I wish Linux didn't suck so hard. I would bail off Windows so fast. All right. Wait, now my things are not, the selection is not fading. That's weird. Okay. Did we run into any issues with large structs and the LLVM backend? Not that I'm aware of, but maybe we just haven't made any large structs. Like what size are you talking about? Or do you mean large number of members? $33K, that doesn't seem very large. Why couldn't it make a 33K struct? That doesn't seem good. Doesn't seem good at all, but I don't know anything about that problem. We haven't seen it ourselves. All right, what was I trying to do? I was trying to look at entity panel, find entity under cursor. Entity. Oh, that's in. Oh. What? Oh, there we go. I just got confused because I was flipping through similar code. Okay. So, what? Let's try the LLVM debug symbols. Those should work. Okay. Well, it says the breakpoint. Okay. Offsets. Well, we do have all the offsets. All right. Well, that certainly looks right. Oh, no, because it's in a different coordinate system. Okay, hold on. No, it's not in a different coordinate. Wait, what? Ay, ay, ay. Well, let's just look. I might be forgetting about something funny that happens. So let's just look. Okay, to do, right, so to do the initial cull, so when we find by segment in array, we say segment intersects sphere with squared radius, which is this, right? So take the sphere center. Well, what I could do, so there's two steps to this, right? There's one is we cast against the bounding sphere. Then the other one is, okay, once we have that bounding sphere, well, once we know that the sphere intersects with the ray, then we go and iterate over every triangle in the entity and do the ray cast. So it could be that the sphere is working and the triangle one is not working. Or it could be that the sphere one is not working. I think the latter is more likely because, well, I don't really know. I'm not sure why I couldn't just put this offset in and have it work. Although, actually, I think I did put the offset in the wrong direction. I think this should be plus, maybe. I doubt that's going to really change anything, but let's just see what happens. I really got to fix that. Okay, so we still don't select anything except for the things in the initial zone. I think it is plus, not minus. So oh, wait. No, never mind. I got excited for a second, but that was incorrect. So what do we do? Well, we could just step through the thing. The problem is okay, here's what we could do. It is kind of dumb, but uh-oh. You know what? I think our game... So I just tried to delete everything from the world, and I think maybe the editor doesn't do very well if... see, we haven't... Well, I don't know. Let's see what... Maybe it's just deleting all these things, and it's just really slow because it's a debug build and it's running a million operations. What I was trying to do... is just get a world with one entity in it, because that is really simple to debug. Let's hold on. Let's do this. We might be doing like something n to the fourth when we delete things. It's quite possible. Let's see. Let's make a levels. So we're going to start with promise 3, because I think that has the least junk. Say P3 n or P3 test. And we're going to start there. Did I spell it wrong? Oh, it's not in. Okay. So here we have many fewer things, and let's just make this be the one mesh. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go rock, select all, destroy, yeah, fence, destroy, get rid of all the gems, get rid of all the beams, get rid of that ground plane, get rid of all these. Yeah, deleting does seem really slow right now. So I don't know why. But it also might be like if we deleted the ocean entity or something, the ocean map entity, that could cause a great deal of distress. Okay, so we've got this one mesh, and then I hope those are different meshes. Yeah. Okay. Delete that. Delete all these things. Okay. So how many entities do we have? Probably at least 3, right? 606. Oh, we have invisible stuff. Right. Yeah, deleting things is real slow right now. I don't know why it's so slow. Okay. Well, okay, we have this. We've got 2 suns. We've got an ocean map. I don't know what the other entities are. Let's turn on everything. Sun, right? That's correct. See, in the witness, we had like a listing panel that would show you all entities that are selected, and we just haven't ported it over to this game yet. Oh, camera, right. Duh. There's multiple. Okay, 2 cameras, 2 suns, ocean map, and 1 inanimate mesh. So this is... Why am I seeing so much of the, less of that mesh now? What the hell? I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm just not sure. Not sure why most of its geometry just disappeared. I am tripping. Dude, when, oh wait. Okay, no, okay, there's two inanimates. Now, when chat gets this annoying, I'm very tempted not to stream, actually, guys. Like, I don't like it when chat turns into people making stupid comments all the time. It's just aggravating for me. And I would rather just program by myself. But it's not like that all the time. Maybe I should do something where I just like drop a nuke on the chat and ban everybody once in a while. That would be good. All right. So this is just what I wanted to set up for debugging. Did I make LLVM build? No. All right. Anyway, so we do this. We do this. We're going to run it again. And we're just going to step through. Why? Because I'm really tired because I was playing video games till 3 in the morning. Usually I wouldn't debug step a problem like this because I mean, the solution that I tried to put in was really stupid. It was just testing the... Yeah. I don't know, man. Okay. So... we're going to go to there. This is still going to be annoying because there's 6 entities, right? So we click over here. Well, first of all, we want to wait till the right offset. So this should be the west offset, which should be x negative. Oh, it's the second one. All right. So that's fine. So now, frickin', okay. So P0, P1. I guess. I mean, yeah. It's just a really long ray. Okay. How do I know? Okay, this is not going to be it because its bounding radius is small. Let's just do this. Okay, so this is the ocean. Whoops. I thought I had a break. Okay. Now we got to go all the way around again. I screwed up. Okay, so we're going to click here. Boop. Going to go down there. Going to skip through. No! Ah! What am I doing? Debug. Attached to... Don't play video games till 3 in the morning and then try to program. It's not good. Okay, we're back. We're clicking here. Okay. The second segment, x negative. That's going to be this west thing that we're ostensibly clicking on. Okay. So, we skip through this garbage. We do this. Okay, I thought that I did this. Okay, so this is the ocean. Camera, camera, sun, sun. Okay, it's the last one. Terrain, whatever. Okay. So, P0, P1. No, it's okay. I had it right the first time. This is minus. That still won't solve the problem. But we're gonna, whoops, no. I wish this was less tedious, man. Visual Studio interface. The interface is so bad because they add all this stuff to it, none of which is anything that I care about, and it clutters all the menus and makes everything hard to deal with and so forth. Okay, so we're looking at this. I'm clicking on the west one. Boom. Offset. Oh, no. I want to go there. So offset is there. We'll skip straight to this. And again, we have ocean, camera, camera, sun, sun, terrain. All right. So then we get the sphere center in world space. That's not going to be any different. Dude, this is why you just like you stepping down through so many functions and you just accidentally hit step one too many times and you lose your whole thing. So now we have to do all that again. This is why if you can just figure out your problem without using the debugger, then I recommend that. Because like of all the things that Microsoft could be working on, saying, whoops, I didn't mean to do that would be 100 times better than any of the garbage that they add. All right, so here we go. Ocean, camera, camera, sun, sun, terrain. We got to step through these. Because why? Because that's what's there. Okay. So now, let's just see if we hit. We didn't. Okay, so that tells us, well, the problem is, it's not a triangle to triangle problem. It's just with the bounding spheres. Is this going to be the way to debug on release, or are you aiming toward a better debugging interface? No, we can't make a debugger. Are you kidding me? We've got so much work to do. We will eventually, but not on release. Okay, so why doesn't this work? Well, I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to tell. So V, that seems about right. Well, no, actually, wait, what? Okay. Sphere center, 11, 11, 6. And then ray P0, wait, I'm not sure I buy that. What? We should have subtracted some things, right? So Pause. Did we step down into the wrong one? Yes. Oh my God, dude. Okay, now it's the right one. Okay, now we're stepping down. Okay, now it actually hit the sphere. I bet there's like a post step. You know, I could have just looked at this entities array and it would have saved me a lot of time. We've got it. We collected this guy in the entities array. Yeah, see, sometimes using a debugger is just harder than solving the problem. Okay, so we're going there. Ignore selection. I hope that's not set. No. Okay, filter visible pickables. Is this? We have two entities that we hit the bounding sphere of. All right. Oh! I didn't add the offset down here. Why? See, it took me like 15 minutes of flailing with the debugger to figure out that, like, oh, this is the thing that actually tests against the triangles. So we collected the things. Correctly by which spheres we hit, but then we didn't do it down here. I guess really what we want is for all of this to be in the loop, really, is what we're saying. Which again, if I hadn't played video games till 3 in the morning, I probably would have done that right the first time. Okay. Wait, what file are we in? What file are we in? We're in entity panel. So okay, this is a little bit weird. Maybe we don't put it all in the same loop because yeah. Okay. We're going to say here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the way raycast result works I mean, no, this isn't the right thing to do. What we really should be doing like, we don't want to iterate over all these. Yeah, that's garbage. Okay. Undo, 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 undo. Alert, alert. Intruder alert. Okay. Okay, here's what we want to do. We just want to modify this logic here. So we're doing all this stuff. I'm doing all this stuff. Okay. So the way a raycast result works is all the code that we call is all about finding the closest raycast. Because often if you're raycasting into a scene, you know, this ray will go through several entities. And the entities are not necessarily sorted, right? And even if they were sorted by entity, the individual triangles within them are not sorted usually. So the process of raycasting usually involves, okay, let's find out where this ray hits this entity, and then is that closer than any previous hit that we got or not, right? So we should be able to keep iterating over this and if we have multiple hits, we get closer and closer, right? And then at the end, we just test this. So that's my claim. I don't know how accurate that claim is. You know, like when you port stuff from engine to engine, and sometimes it works differently in different engines, and you forget. All right, can we still click the middle one? Yes. Can we click this one? No. Why not? That should have worked, man. Hold on. No, it shouldn't work because I didn't do this. Is this like single ray tracing? Yes, it is a lot like that. Okay, middle one, left one. No, why? This should have been so simple, dude. This should have been a 2-minute thing. Sometimes that's what programming is like, is you try to do a 2-minute thing and then you become very sad. All right. All right, well, here's what we do. We just build it. Whoops, it didn't compile. Oh my God. Did I not compile it correctly? Okay, well that, oh no, this is this is the thing I just changed. Okay, this is a problem. Do we need this variable or is that old? Oh, it's used for snaps or something? It's used for snaps. So we need this to work. The problem is that we're not... I don't think we store on the raycast result where the position came from because there's no need, because usually the caller knows where the position came from. We're just going to put it on the raycast result. Okay, hopefully that's the only place that sets hit entity. I think that's a different thing in Mirror Isles. Let's go look. It's a scan result, yeah, not a raycast result. Okay. So normally in most engines, redundant to store ray P0, but here we do iteration iteration with offsets for wrapping worlds. So this helps us disambiguate. Okay. Okay. This is going to be results.ray p0. There we go. Let's make LLVM, because we're going to need to debug this, because this is one of these days when we can't do anything right. Why does it take the game so much longer to start up and compile? Because we're loading lots of graphical assets and crap, and that just starts taking a lot of time. We, of course, can optimize the loading. Oh, it worked! Bro, look. Oh, it probably worked before, but I already had this entity selected. So here's the thing. When we draw the mesh, the grid version of the mesh, we don't draw that with an offset, right? So here we go. I'm just going to select this. There, that worked. I'm going to select this, select that. Okay, so now let's go to our more dense level. I'm going to select, well, look at all this junk. Look at our wonderful low frame rate in debug build. I'm going to select this one on the left. Hey, we got that one in the middle. I'm going to select that. Yep. Okay, so now I didn't even think about this part, the drawing of the grid. I guess we just want to draw the selection all the time. Okay. So let's look at where that happens. I think it's separate from the main entity stuff. We say okay. So we need to do this thing. We need to say offsets is get world wrapping offsets manager. For offset in offsets, we do all this stuff. We draw the meshes. Okay. Okay. It is what it is. Yeah, I do. I offset the mouse click in world space. That's exactly what's happening. Yes. Let's start on the real promise 3. What was that colorful landscape? Well, it was part of the game, probably. Okay, so people, I just accidentally saved the level for some reason. Okay. Hey, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. So now we're drawing, you know, and I can move it around, but the widget's only in one place. So I think we want to do the widget thing next. All right. This is good. This should have only taken us 5 minutes. It's taken us an hour. But that's how things go sometimes. That's how things go. Okay. So we want this to work. So now the problem is, those lower level raycasting routines don't know about this entity offset. So like I modified the raycast result so that so that it stored the originating point of the ray. So I could like re-subtract to get the offset, which is kind of gross, but could work. Or I could just draw the widget every frickin' time. The thing is, Casey wrote this version of these manipulators originally for the Witness engine, and it had a provision for multiple manipulators, but we didn't necessarily preserve that when we ported this stuff over. So I'm not sure which is the best way. Not sure. I'm going to heat up some tea with caffeine, and then we'll do this. So again, one way would be, so you see I've got this selected and all of these little guys are glowing. One way would be to put one of these widgets on each of these. And the other one would be just to put it on the one that we select. I want to just put it on the one that we select, because I think it's going to be distracting to have them all over the place. I think we just put one manipulator widget and it's there. Oh, I don't know if that's a well-formed concept though. Because you could do something like select, like if I just select one thing, it makes sense. I think we're going to have to draw it multiple times. Because if I select just one thing, it makes sense. Like, oh, it's that one thing. But like, what happens if I select 3 things, right? I'm shift selecting to grab more. It's like, well, okay. I mean, they're all on the left here, so put the manipulator on the left. But what if I like do this and that rock and then like this? Those are like all at different world offsets. Right, so what do you do? I could save a world offset position per entry in the selection, but that's bananas. That's just, yeah, that's bananas. And so the actual use case for this, like you're probably not, if you're using this editor mode, you're probably not zoomed out this far. You're probably like in here. Like the reason that we need to do this selection is like, hey, I'm in here and I'm working on the boundary between one square and the next square over. And like these things are next to each other, so I want to just select them very easily, and it doesn't work right now. And so if we draw the widget multiple times, you won't really see it in this case because the other times are off the screen. So that's what I'm going to do. Could be a nice usage of Rand. Well, it could be a nice usage of Rand if it's April 1st. I mean, why not randomize it every frame, right? Okay, I'm going to make some tea. Are there any legit on topic, serious questions about what is going on right now? Legit on topic, serious questions. Wouldn't having a widget for each world wrapping get cluttered when you have lots of wrappings in a type space? Yes, it would, but we don't have that. Like the nature of the game, sometimes you build things knowing how they're going to be used, right? And we don't have that. Do the wrapping levels have to be square? Yes, they do. Any further optimizations for the x64 backend plans? You'd think that compiling 1 million lines per second is not that useful in a big project if debug perf makes it unusable. Well, so, okay, there's two different things there, right? So one is, are we going to build a serious code optimizer into the x64 backend, right? And the answer to that is yes, but that's a longer term thing, right? Because in the shorter term, we can lean on LLVM as a crutch to give us optimized code, right? But as you say, that does mean that if making a debug build with that backend, it's not even a debug build because LLVM generates better debug symbols. It's more like just a fast build, right? If the fast build is too slow a lot of the time, then yes, that's a problem. Now, the thing is, actually, though, we do literally no register allocation on the x64 backend, which means right now we generate like probably at least 4 assembly instructions for every one assembly instruction we would actually have to generate, and make a lot of memory traffic and all these things. And doing a very simple register allocator that is not actually trying to be optimal, it's just giving us registers and then spilling when they're not available. I don't think that would make the x64 backend appreciably slower, right? So that would be the first step there, is to do that just like a dumb, like a FIFO register allocator or whatever, that has plenty of, there's plenty of cases where it doesn't do very well, but even in all those cases, it'll still be better than what's there now. And I don't think it would slow down compilation at all. So that's the plan there. The initiation of force thing is also a joke, dude. Come on. That's a good joke, Blue Melon. All right. We obviously don't have enough libertarians in the chat. We don't really generate cache misses with that x64 thing that I just mentioned because it's all like on the stack. I suppose it's possible that we generate some in some cases, but most of the time it's just flailing, like loading things from the stack back and forth. So it would be more like just hitting the cache all the time, which doesn't sound that slow, but you would rather just use a value from a register than try to get something out of the cache. So, yeah. You wonder how LLVM code gen scales, granted that 100K lines is about 20 seconds for the optimized build right now. Yeah, but here's the thing. Right now, when we build an optimized build, I think it's actually longer than 20 seconds. It's more like 30. We just turned on all sorts of optimization parameters, and we haven't looked at, which of those parameters gives you how much benefit versus how long it takes, right? It could be that we're spending a lot more time than we need to for essentially no benefit. So we just haven't looked into it, right? Do I have any vague plans for debuggers in the future? Yeah, vague plans, but we would work much more on program visualization stuff first. I was wrong about how tile raycasting works. Can I explain it? We just offset the ray and then cast it. You saw me do it, man. I don't know what else to explain. Visual Studio 2017 Enterprise has a step back feature you can enable for the debugger. Yeah, I don't believe that anything in Visual Studio works unless it's been in the program for at least 5 years. Edit and continue still doesn't really work, so whatever, man. Ever looked at Remedy BG? No, I don't know what that is. Dude, my frickin'... I need to get a new water cooler fan or something. I don't know what's going on with this thing. It just gets loud. Okay. So what I decided was I want to draw widgets for all of these. So right, so we do this update manipulation. And that is going to have to loop over all sorts of stuff. Oh, that's not here. I thought it was in that file. It's in this file. Okay. So we get the selection. I don't know what this, whoops. I don't know what this stuff is. Okay. So I'm hoping I can just do that offset loop right here. Or actually, I could probably do it here. Let's try it. Casey's terminology is so weird, man. I guess pivot point. Yeah. Okay. That's going to mess up all my formatting because Emacs. Oh, no manager. Got to do my V3 again. How do I not have? Let's do that. That's messy. Oh, don't want to oversteep my T. No, don't oversteep the T. That would be terrible. Let's see what happens. It's a little bit oversteeped, honestly. All right, so bam, bam. Hey, manipulators. Look, there's manipulators. Oh, God. Okay, so this thing is this little triangle draw situation where we draw a triangle from the start point of the entity. And either we need to fix that. See, it's always drawing it from like the place. Yeah, that's entertaining. Okay. So this thing, it's just a thing that's trying to be helpful, that draws triangles. And it uses like the manipulator so that's being stored somewhere. It's probably old point. Yeah, there's this show delta arrows. So the problem is that old point there's two problems. Maybe there's just one problem. Yeah. Let's see how this is set. It's just set by looking at the entity position, I think. And okay, there's two places. What are they? Manipulate translation. Both. Wait, what? I don't understand what these two cases are. We need a comment here explaining what the hell is going on here. This is some weird drag case for when you're like edge on the thing. Okay, anyway. So the problem here is that we need to pass the offset in. Or let's say point without offset is a vector 3. Right? This starts getting a little dicey because Casey wrote all this stuff and I'm in a system that maybe doesn't work the way that I think about things. So there may be other variables in here. Like there didn't used to be a distinction between, you know, the offset point and the actual point, and now there is, and it's dangerous to introduce that distinction because now I have to determine if that distinction matters for other things. All right. Anyway, so that's not even the whole problem, though. Oh, yeah, now I really screwed it up. So old point is being used, yeah, fudge. Maybe, okay, so old point is being used to compute deltas. Let's just keep, okay. Let's just do this. Right, so the computation of the drag uses old point as well. But the drawing, now my mouse wants me to, okay. Okay. Also, I find this camel case thing hard to read with long variable names. Like, I like to have long variable names, and when things get long, maybe my brain's just not used to it, but this just looks like spam to me in here. Okay, so we... Okay, something like that. Oh, we forgot to put it there. Old point without offset. Old point point. Oh, whoops. Old point point without offset. Probably did that more than once. Yep, because of the pasting. Okay. Old point point. I'm adjusting my mouse cable. Okay. So, here we go. Hey, okay. So, now the issue is we only have one triangle. It's in the middle. It's not necessarily on the one I'm dragging. So if I go down to this copy of the world down here and drag, I don't get it. But if I go over here, I do get it. So the next step is to do that same frickin' loop here. Although I'm not sure why that doesn't automatically happen. Oh, we are drawing it n times. We're just... Yeah. Okay. 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 Let's factor this a little bit. We're going to say old is this. And we're going to say P is this. Just going to make this a little more readable. Oh, wait. Okay. It's P minus old. Old to half point. Look, it's already much more readable. Oh my God. All right. Oh, and then down here, old to P. Look at that. I'm even going to say that. Going to get rid of this over parentheses situation. Okay. Look at that. Look how much better that is. Problem is, T looks like a polymorphic type if you're used to using that variable, but whatever. Now, let's make sure we somehow didn't break something. It's unlikely, but it's always possible that we broke something. I've got to zoom out enough to see. Okay. Okay. Okay, great. Great. Oh God. Okay. That's just... We're like rotating around. Yeah, okay. Scaling, we're going to have to fix rotation. But we're not going to worry about that yet. We are worrying about drawing multiple of these trianguloids. Wait, I don't see any. Okay, there's one. The middle one has it still. It's actually got 9 of them. It's got 9 of them. All right. So now we want to figure out the offset at which to drag, or at which to draw the drag triangle. We are drawing it 9 times. So I want to say offset is okay. Old Hey, look at that. Look at that. It's doing a thing. It's doing a thing. Congratulations. Okay. Let me comment this a little bit more. We didn't pass offset. We can't just make old point have the offset because it's also used for actual physical motion of the manipulated entities, we can't just make old point not have the offset. There may be a way to refactor all this stuff to make it cleaner. Okay, so that's the thing. So now our problem is that rotation is hosed. And the reason rotation is hosed is, yeah, we're just going to do this. Is that right? No, that's not going to work. Ugh. Okay. Whoops. What did I just do? So we're going to do the same thing we did for translation. Right? So that means when we call this, we need to add that parameter. And then, well, so one of these is going to be used visually and the other one is going to be used for, yeah, let's just see. Base point. I don't know about that one. I think that's fine. Yeah. Maybe not. Okay, first things first, let's make sure we can rotate something in the middle one where the offset is 0 and that it still works. If that doesn't work, we have a bigger problem. What exactly is this for? It's so that we can edit these wrapping levels. Like until today, you weren't able to select anything on these outer copies of the, they're not copies, but in these outer visual instances of the, they're not anything. But now you can select things out there, and we're just trying to make the editing stuff work, that's all. Okay, so this is the middle one. Okay, that's kind of scary. Let me pick a purely, so like this is a purely cosmetic thing, and as soon as I start dragging, it blows up. That bothers me because the middle offset is 0. Oh wait, this is the middle one. Okay, hold on. Yeah, everything just blows up, or it doesn't work. So I broke something real bad. Oh, it's probably that we rotate the frickin' thing 9 times or whatever. I don't even know. hold on. So this one is the one that we're dragging, and if I do this, it's fine. As soon as I turn this on, if I do that, it blows up. And I think it's because it's doing all the rotations. Because unlike the rotation widget, it just is not built for this use case, I don't think. I don't know why it's blowing up this hard, but I'm maybe not that surprised. Why is having levels like this desirable? Because it is. We get interesting game design out of it. Doesn't starting the editor camera from zero get annoying? Yes, it does. I wrote, in fact, during this stream, I wrote down on my piece of paper to fix that. But I don't tend to allow my current task to be derailed by other things like that. Unless it's actually causing a serious problem. Yeah. And the thing is, in most levels in the game, this isn't a problem because most levels have a different kind of camera setup. But these kinds of wrapping worlds with multiple levels have a different set of camera logic. And that set of camera logic is what's not doing the right thing on level load. And it's actually probably very easy to fix. But yeah, I don't want to derail. Yeah, the word non-Euclidean gets very abused. This is not non-Euclidean. It's just repeating. It's just repeating. Okay, so I'm not sure what's the best thing to do here. So the reason that we don't have this problem with the translation widget is the translation widget tests the ray and it says like, oh, you're way off. Okay. But the rotation widget doesn't do that test. So really what we want to do is like when you click on it, see, this is a piece of work I was not planning to have to do. Like when you click on it, we figure out which offset it was. And then we just don't do anything if it's not that one. That'll still cause problems for rotating some very large meshes, but it might be fine. Okay. So rotate manipulation. When we set a ridge point, we'll say a ridge offset. We're going to just save all these things. So do we have that here? Point without. Wait, why is base point different from point? Oh, point is the intersection point. We'll just save the offset. We don't, yeah. I don't need that paren. So okay. So we do these things. Now, when we say it's time to manipulate, we're going to test. This indentation is so effed. Okay. Let's do it up here. Okay. Is it called state here? Okay. Manips. To avoid running the rotation widget code 9 times when since it does plain math that doesn't try to detect blah blah blah, whatever. Since it does plain math that doesn't try to detect whether it's really the rotation ring being clicked on. In principle, this problem can happen in translation and scaling also if those things are drawn large enough to overlap each other. So as a matter of robustness, maybe we should make all the Just do this. Manipulators, I guess they're called. Okay, so we're going to say, whoops, okay, if distance is greater than 1, continue. Why don't I make white space visible? Because I don't care. All right. So all right, translation still there. Rotate. Oh, right. Wait, what? We're not drawing. Oh, because I'm not checking. See, the thing is, we call this routine multiple times, I think. Right, so we say, okay, we look at state.operation. So if okay, so, oh no, not render, because we want to render. We want to render. We don't want, let's do this. MO manipulate. Or manips.operation is MO finish. I don't really know what finish does, but it sure sounds like we want to be careful about that. Okay. Do that. No, what? Oh, it's not all caps, that's why. Casey, why are you such a weirdo? All right. I'm using Emacs company mode. No, I don't care about Emacs modes. Emacs is a burning trash fire. Okay. Okay. Well, that's less messed up. So now it's only wrong and not like completely exploding. Why? Okay. I have many questions. Why is the frickin' circle so big? Anyway. Like what? That's a different question completely. But given that it is what it is. I mean, I guess we just scale it to screen size approximately, although not totally, because here it's a lot smaller. I don't know, man. Okay. So we turn this on. Oh, here it's working. Interesting. I don't know why it's drawing different frickin' rotations. Like what? Like look, like this little wedge that's being drawn is different. That's a clue. That's a clue. Like, why are we drawing? And do I care? Okay, that one messed up real bad. Question, if I zoom into it, does it mess up? Yes. Why? Okay. So we got to fix this situation. That one messes up. Middle one doesn't mess up. Is it a matter of just always using the middle one again? Probably. Yeah. So that's what we expect to see. And if we use a non-middle one, it blows up. So this is a case of it's just, you know, it's not using the point without offset situation. So I'm going to make it, I'm first going to fix this display bug of it drawing the wrong angle all the time, and then that might give us some clues. Isn't programming fun? Don't you wish you could do this all day? All right. So, yeah. I'm getting hungry. I kind of want to go get a real meal, but I want to finish this. If we're rendering, what draws the arc? Draw arc. Where are we here? This is MO render of, oh, that's translation. Whoops. MO render. We draw the ring. Draw a ring, draw an arc. So draw arc. I think we just want base point without offset, because these vectors, what's your vector, Victor? And then the vectors are probably wrong. The vectors are correct for the middle one, right? And then they're probably wrong for the outer ones. Right, so, oh boy. Okay, that's tremendously wrong now. We're going to have to actually look at what the code is doing as opposed to just typing things in. Okay. Where do original vector and current vector come from? Oh, they're right there. Original vector is orig point minus base point. Current vector okay. Maybe I can do that. Maybe that's a thing. Hey, look at that. We're actually drawing the same angle all the time, people. Imagine the amazing video game technology possible when you actually draw the same angle all the time. Now, we're still not drawing exactly the same thing. Like if you look at the upper left one, there's like a big gap between that one and the outer ring, and then here there's not quite. So I'm not sure what the deal is there. But you know, one thing at a time, bro. Okay. So now the question is what happens here? Oh, it still blows up. Still blows up. Still blows up. All right. This one kind of works for some reason. Blows up. Works. Oh. I bet that one works. Yeah. And then I bet this one works. Yeah. Okay. So it's like when the axis in that direction, when the vector in that direction has no perpendicular component relative to the axis, and it works. So the corners will never work, and then here the green ring will work, and then here the red ring will work. All right. Apart from, well, we got to fix. There's more things to fix on the arc drawing. So what's old quad? Because that's what's screwing us up right now. Why is it called quad? I guess it's the rotation of the plane? I don't know why it's called quad. Maybe because he was thinking about drawing a quad to represent the, I don't know, man. That's just whatever the orientation was when we started dragging. So that's not really messing us up. Maybe it's just this draw size thing. Well, no. That's pretty much constant. Well, we're going to have some pistachio nut consultation here. Okay. Either the, so there's some redundancy in these parameters. Because, so, you know, what we see is the vectors are sort of varying random lengths. Those lengths either could be getting in here, or they could be getting in here, because there's a length parameter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set this to 2.0. All right? If there's still different lengths, then we know that lengths are getting into the quaternions or the vectors in some other way. Because quaternions can actually store a scale and a rotation. Okay. So those look like all the same length to me. Maybe I should have picked a bigger number, but whatever. I mean, I don't exactly know. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to say we're going to do that. All right? So we're going to normalize those. Let's see what happens. We shouldn't have to normalize them. So even if this appears to fix the problem, we will still want to, whoops, actually fix the problem. Yeah. Whoops. Gotta use the middle one. All right, so this does not fix the problem. See the one in the upper left is like not really touching the outer ring. It should, as far as I know, be exactly on the outer ring. So or maybe it's that the position is off. I don't know. It looks like the length is off. So weird. It's hard to tell what's happening. Anyway, So why would the length be off? Well, it's either r dot radius or draw size. So is draw size a tiny number or? And why is it plus draw size? How does that make any sense? I think draw size is like the line length, right? So I think if I factor this out, it should be a very small. That's just to push us just outside the ring to draw the next ring, I think. So my assumption is this will still be woefully off. And that's good because that tells us which parameter it is, right? Okay. Yeah, see, so draw size is not the culprit. It is r dot radius or something is wrong. So does radius update? See, that's the thing, is it only updates. It only updates when we initialize it. So now I'm really confused. I don't know, let's just pick a bigger number. That's probably too big. I'm confused because it doesn't look like that should change as we iterate through the offset loop. Here's what I'm going to do. I want to print out what's the exact number for the middle one. If length of I just want to print this out and then we'll hard code that in. I mean, it should be the same for every offset, but because we're debugging offset related things, I put that test in there. So why is it? It's around 9. Oh, because the ridge offset's going to be 0 for every iteration. So what? Wait, why is it changing then? What? Hold on. I'll just print out both of these. Because my assumption was that those shouldn't really be changing, and they are. Whoops. Wait, draw size is changing a lot. Oh, because that's distance to the camera. I wanted r.radius here, not draw size. Because I'm a dummy. Let me put this. Radius, bro. Radius. Like Gradius, the old video game. Okay. Radius is the same. It's draw size that is changing every time. Okay. It doesn't seem to be used consistently. Okay. I see what's happening. So what's happening is what is happening is the following thing. When we're going to draw these rings, we do them in world coordinates, right? And you know, so the size of the ring in world coordinates changes as I move around, right? So if you think about how big this sphere is, it's like, well, that's all the way across one entire repeat. And the width of these little sides of it is pretty wide, right? But as I zoom in, right, way down to here and do one, it's like, oh, it's a much smaller sphere, right? And so we're computing how thick is this thing. And then, you know, the concept of adding draw size there is just like, look, when we do this rotation arc here, it just lays just on the outside of the rotation widget, right? Now what's going on is for stuff that's way further away, draw size is going to be bigger. But we don't, for some reason, something weird is happening. I think there's two things happening, right? So one thing that's happening is that draw size is different as things go further back and are more in perspective. Like notice even like the world space size of all these spheres is different. Let's make that uniform first of all. Like see this one, the one in the middle is smaller than the one way in the back corner, and the one in the lower right is even smaller because it's closer to the camera near plane. So let's make that uniform. because this is just sloppy, and that might fix the problem. So when we say what draw size equals, well, that's whatever times scale. Let's just say scale is get standard scale of well, I mean, this is a weird one. I mean, let's pass it as a parameter. Because you actually want that get standard scale is the thing that scales the thing up and down as you move around. That's why it takes the point as a parameter. It's like, oh, if the point's farther away, we scale up. The problem is, oh, I don't know, man. Maybe we should let them be different scales. Because if I was thinking, maybe you should pick a scale before you go into this loop and then pass the scale as a parameter. But then the problem is some of those might be like behind the near plane. How do you pick one? How do you know what's reasonable? Oh, this is the wrong function anyway. But it's the same. So I think we just let it be different. Okay. I feel like the real problem, here's the thing. Like I said, there's more than one thing going on. One thing going on is that draw size is scaling up and down for these different guys. But that's kind of fine if the guy draws consistently for that draw size, which he's not. So like the arc for the further away guys is shrunken inside or outside of the ring, which tells us that draw ring and draw arc are doing things a little bit inconsistently with each other for some reason. I don't know why the parameters to both these functions are so different. It's probably just historical. Anyway, I bet for draw ring we probably need to do some kind of base point without offset situation. We're going to make draw ring internal just be draw ring with an optional argument. Just get rid of that. That has nothing to do with what we're debugging, but like when we see an extra layer of glue that's unnecessary, we get rid of it. That's the only way to keep yourself sane when you program. Did we break it? No, we didn't break it. Well, I mean, that part was already broken. That's what we're trying to debug. So draw ring also does the manip, so whatever's causing it to freak out like that, I think, is also the cause of our scaling issue. And I was hoping to find it by debugging the scaling issue, but the scaling issue was not that easy to see. So in this case, we're just going to look at the thing. Oh wait, this doesn't. This is just render. Okay, this is not actually changing the angle. Let's look at right, this is the thing that does it. So I assume, so we're not doing head-on drag most of the time, so we're going to kind of ignore this for a bit and look at this and say, you know, why would this be a problem? So we test for intersection. Like any of these variables could be weird. Facing plane, plane point. I feel like I want all these to be what I think they are. So this is hard to look at in a debugger because whichever numbers of these are wrong, I'm not sure it'll be easy to tell. I'm pretty sure, though, it's angle that's wrong. So, like, if I run this, it always now stays in the correct axis, I think, right? it just freaks out in terms of how much it rotates. So if I do this and I go here and I say there, oh, well, yeah, see, it's rotating in the XY plane here. But it's also like translating somehow, like that's a weird one. How are we getting, how are we actually, are the positions of these things moving? Yes. Oh, because they're rotating around a pivot in principle. So like, pick this one. Like as soon as we start rotating, we move in the first frame. That's weird. Where's that coming from? How are we getting any kind of pivoting? Are we sure that we aren't affecting a single entity 9 times? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We did that step. It could still be possible, but I don't think that's what's happening. Because the thing is, this code that I was looking at, not this on the screen right now, but a second ago, doesn't have any provision in it for changing the entity's like translation as if it went around a pivot. But I know that there's an ability to do that in this code. Because Casey put it in, I just don't ever use it. But that's probably what's going wrong. Right, so like maybe when we come back, yeah, it's this stuff. It's this stuff. Delta is get update quaternion. Oh wait, no, because rotate by delta. Oh, pivot point. Oh my God, guys. Oh my God. We just do this. That won't fix the rendering at all, but it might fix the freaking out. All right. Well, not totally. Or maybe not at all. Let's see. Oh, it's better. Because it's not flying through space anymore. Now the problem is just the initial rotation like snaps to something weird. But it's actually staying in the right place. So that's one reason why it was so confusing, is because multiple problems were happening. Okay, so so now, here's the thing. I'm going to grab a point on this guy, and I should be able to rotate it by moving around the center, and that used to work, and it now doesn't work. It's like thinking about what this rotation means relative to this center, which also explains why the rotation is snapping somewhere wrong. So what's going on is this rotate by delta function that I called needs to know both the current and the non, or whatever, or maybe, no, I mean, I guess it's just the update quaternion that's wrong. I don't know. Okay, let's look at that. Get update quaternion, current rotation. All right. Okay. Maybe we're just see, all this stuff is supposed to use these relative offsets. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to say offset is, let's just say I'll do that. It's orig offset. Because I feel like maybe our loop, well, I don't know. I feel like something is going wrong. It thinks we're manipulating the middle one, even though we're not. So here, or here, let's pick the corner one. Well, orig offset is correct. Okay, point minus 15 minus 16. That's the point of intersection with the plane of this thing, and that all makes, wait, minus 15 plus 16? What? Let me just, I'm going to pull the camera out without rotating, because maybe I rotated myself. Okay, we're reset. I'm going to select this thing. I'm picking the middle guy. Point 17 minus 1. That's plausible. Base point. Okay, base point is the one that's off, I think. Let's see. Okay, so here, point minus 6, minus 23, base point. Wait, base point is like, so it's 23, 23 for that one. It's 0, 23 for that one. It's minus 24. It's like negative. Base point is like offset in the wrong direction from how it should be. And that's because, remember that thing when I did like minus instead of plus? That makes sense for the raycasting because of the math that's going in. But then without thinking, I pass the same parameter to here. And that's not really what we want. Wait. No, because it's not minus. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. Hold on. So base point is pivot point, and pivot point is orig pivot point plus the offset. So, hold on. Okay, so this guy is this is the x-axis, the red arrow. This is the y-axis, the green arrow. And so when I twiddle this one, I'm wondering if just the picking of the rings is weird. Like this base point is always, it's the opposite of what I expect it to be. And I'm not sure why. So like this one is plus 24 in each axis, but the offset is minus 24 minus, well, okay. I actually don't know why it's plus 24 here. And it is every time, regardless of, every time that I move this circle, regardless of like which subcircle it is, the offset is the negative of what I would expect. This is in the lower left corner. So we're subtracting each time. I mean, unless it's backwards. What if it's backwards for the entire game? Like, what if our transform setting is backwards in our regular rendering? That would mean that our east and west logic would have to be wrong too for the gameplay version. I am suspicious now. Okay, I'm going to go edit set matrix for entities. Sometimes things could be wrong for a long time and you don't notice. See, these are all like my, what if, like I suspect that's supposed to be plus and not minus, and that we have other things compensating. Let's just see. So if this fixes the editor, it'll break the game, and then we have to go fix the game. But sometimes that's why things are so confusing. It's like one of the problems is in a completely different place than you thought. That is definitely a thing that's happened to me before. Whoops, I rotated accidentally on the way up. That was not good, but you could tell this is, okay, this is x-axis, this is y-axis. Let's rotate. Okay, well that's still weird, but wait, what? It's still plus 23. Nothing changed. Oh, right, wait. Okay, hold on. The change that I just did wouldn't actually change anything because we draw the same entities in both places. What then it would be... Okay, hold on. No, it would change. It would change. No, it wouldn't change anything. Because we're drawing the same thing in all cases. What matters is it's time to get another drink, and then we'll go. Do I have strong thoughts on entity pivots being centered versus in a corner? It should be in a place that makes sense to you. So for us, it's actually not the same on all the axes, right? For this game, because it's about people walking around on a ground, then for characters and gameplay objects, it's centered on the object in X, Y, but it's at the floor level in Z, right? Because that's just what makes it easy to position things. For arbitrary graphical objects, that's not true. Because they don't really get manipulated in that way. So arbitrary graphical objects, the pivot is just wherever it is that makes it more convenient for the modeler. Like the pivot ends up being wherever the modeler wants to rotate around the most. You know what I'm saying? So like if it was a branch of a tree that you were going to mess with, then the pivot would be about where the branch meets the tree, wherever that is. All right, let me get a drink. Okay, my brain knows what's happening, I think. And that is the following. Remember how we did that thing? So notice how it's always 24, 24, right? Well, that happens to be the last offset that we set up, I think, right? Like we iterate in a loop and we add things. And I bet, well, we can go look, but I bet that's the last one, right? Remember when we factored this out? If we're in an editing mode, we do all 4 directions if we're wrapping. And oh, no, it's not the last one. Anyway, it's a couple from the last. In fact, it's straight up in the middle. But I still think the following thing may be happening, which is when we did this hit test situation, I think we're continuing to iterate. So after we hit test, we say, hey, whichever one we hit tested on is the one that we're using. And let's just, instead of running the manipulator 9 times, just run it 1 time, right? So we put in that little skip in the loop. However, we don't skip during hit testing. And it might be that once we find the initial hit, we keep calling hit test and it like screws with the values, right? And I think we want to avoid that. So so if the operation is hit test, how do we know what's going on? If it's a hit test. we do all this stuff. But we don't, no, we return result. What is result in this case? We don't even set it. Okay. So we want to have some way to know if we hit tested successfully. And I guess we can use result for that. But wait, how do we know? How do we know afterward? Like, I don't get how we know that we're rotating. Like, we set all these variables, but I don't see one. What is it called? It's called rotate manipulation. There we go. So I don't see a variable on here that's like, hey, we're actually rotating. Maybe that's dragging axis index. I don't know. This is Casey code. Okay, if we press the mouse button, we call hit test. Or we call it in mode hit test. I guess we set hot. We set hot to true or to something. Oh, except hit does it. Except hit sets. Okay. Okay, that's how we know. That's how we know. Okay. So up here, we're going to say when we're doing this, if we're in MO hit test, let's just try that. Now, that was only like a hypothetical that that's even the problem. Who knows if it is. Okay, translation, we didn't mess up. Good, we shouldn't have. That didn't really change anything. Well, it was a theory. Okay. Oh, wait, we got a different offset this time. It did change something. Let's see if the offsets make sense. Okay. Negative X, negative Y. The rotation isn't good. Let me actually select the big one. That's easier to see. Yeah, the rotation is totally wrong, but oh, the offset is 24, 24. Well, what about this one? 24, 0. Oh yeah, that whole thing I said about it being the last, or 24, 24 always, I think I was just tired. Because I remember saying it's exactly the opposite of what I think, right? What would cause that? What would cause this? Like, I literally just don't, I don't have a, don't have a theory in my head. Except for what I said about that's literally the only thing. Is that this thing that I did. All right, there's only one overload of it, set matrix for entities. And, all right. But that didn't seem to change anything. And that is, it's confusing me. That's the real thing I'm confused about. Is why that didn't change anything about which one I pick, right? Because in principle, so what we're doing is we're calling that set matrix for entities function, and then we go down and we do this hit test. And for some reason, like our coordinates in the hit test are correct. They're like way negative. But the base point is not. I don't. Maybe Casey's got his own. I don't know. This is translation, right? No. That's translation. That's rotation. So why does swapping this completely not even change the results? Only if we're actually running a hit test on both and picking the other one for some reason. Okay. There is at least one problem here. So this accept hit stuff that Casey does, you know, you pass a key to identify which widget it is. And right now I'm drawing like 9 things and they all have the same key, right? So we're taking the address of the entity's position for the position key, which is just a way of identifying the thing. And we're taking the address of the orientation and the address of the scale. And the problem is we're doing that 9 times, and I think that's confusing the system because you're not supposed to do that. Okay. Can I add to a void pointer? I don't remember. Let me see. I want to basically add 1 byte. It's a stupid hack, but I want to add 1 byte per offset index, right? I don't remember if we add size of void for, we probably do. We probably can't do it without casting it. All right. See, this is what I'm talking about, where it's like you're working in a system that you're not that familiar with. Like Casey wrote it. Casey would have known right away that if I was drawing multiple widgets, I need to have a different ID for each one. It's just not the way that I tend to have done it in the past. So, oh, it actually works. Okay. It's interesting. It's a little bit of a violation of our language semantics in other ways. So I'm gonna cast it. I'm gonna make a note and say offset. Okay. Let's say base, base, base. Right now we actually can add to a void, but this seems inconsistent with other semantics, so we might change that. So I am doing this ugly looking thing instead. Pivot point, or no, position key is cast a pointer to void, cast a pointer to char, base, or pointer to U8, base position key +1. Okay. Oh, not +1, plus index, right? So we get an actual different key every time. All right. We're just casting. So when you do pointer math, it increments by the size of the thing that you're pointing to, right? Which for void technically would be 0, but it's not right now. So I casted it to something that's 1 byte so that, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Well, now it's just completely screwed and nothing happens. Oh, the middle one works. That's strange. I mean, it's not that strange, but I wonder why it's rejected. Like, do we generate those keys again when we draw? No, I don't know. I don't know. No. And in fact, we probably don't need one of these sets of parentheses. But again, I don't want to trust that we're not going to like change the operator precedence a little bit. Why increment it? To get a different value every time we iterate through the loop. That's why. That is the point. Okay. Like why? Oh, I want to look in manips. What does is active mean? Like, do we reset these? So it's not saying accept hit for any. I bet like if I do translation as well, that won't work. All right, so here, oh, whoops, that might have just been the middle one accidentally. Oh, it wasn't. So this is interesting because we did the same thing for translation and rotation. Oh! Remember our hack to exit the loop? We don't need to do that anymore. This thing is handled. The reason this was happening, maybe this is even handled, I don't know. But the reason this was a problem is because all of our things had the same identifier. If they don't, then the one with the wrong identifier just shouldn't get manipped. I really want to fix this at some point. Okay, so, right, so, hey, look, I'm rotating. I'm rotating, look. Yeah. You know what? I think we're potentially done. I mean, we got to take out some print statements. We've got to see. It was just a matter of remembering how the frickin' system worked. That's all. I mean, it's a little bit. When they overlap, like the picking is a little bit fussy, but this is not really a case that you ever should have. Because the thing is, like, we're testing this one and we're saying, oh, it's on that one, but then actually I'm closer to this one, but there's no like closer comparison right now. Anyway, that's the thing. And like there's a two-phase situation, but no, it's a long story. Anyway, bro, this is all we wanted. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, now the question is this snapped? Half grid offset. Okay. I'm wondering if we're like rejecting the rotate for some reason. No. Okay. These gameplay objects snap to the nearest 90 degrees, but cosmetic objects don't. In principle. I just don't know why that's snapping back at the end. I don't know if it's supposed to, because like it's locked in some way. Or if it's legit broken. Like it's snapping back here. Oh, wait, that's snapping to... Why is that snapping to the nearest 90? Is it mounted? Is the test just broken? Why is that snapping? Like, if I grab a cosmetic thing, that's not snapping. So I'm not sure why that big mesh was snapping. Oh, right. Everything is snapped by default unless you say not snapped. Duh. So if we go here, we say not snapped, then we can rotate it. Yep, okay. It's all good. It's all good. Someone was asking if I translate an object across boundaries, does it actually end up where you expect it to? So in general, object positions are, they're wrapped into the zone of gameplay that makes sense. So like for this game, the part of the world that actually exists is 24, wait, I think that's right. Something like 24 by 24 squares, right? So if you go off the left, if you go to -1, we wrap you around a 23 somewhere when you cross the boundary. So yeah, we keep the positions of entities in a reasonable physical range. Like if you kept going left forever to like -1,000,000 times or whatever, you would still have a coordinate between 0 and 23. Okay, man. So we got our thing done. This was good. So it's funny because I started and I felt like each of these things should have been much more simple than it did. But mentally, before doing this task, I had allocated at least a whole day for it because I was like, this could get hairy. But I think for a first pass, we're done. We just maybe need, probably somebody will give us a bug report about something that doesn't work right. It's possible that we broke something that used to work. But we're going to just check it in and send an email and, let's take out all these prints, the fresh prints. DJ Jazzy Jeff, I'm so hungry, man. I want another hamburger. I had a hamburger last night. I want another one. Were those the only ones? I think so. Okay, man. So here we go. Rotate. Oh, we've got an R is. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did I add more features after drawing rectangles? It's been a long time since I've done anything on that, but I think we did do a little. We started to do presenter mode a little bit. We started doing work toward presenter mode, and we just didn't continue that. Okay. Except now our weird, okay. Remember that work we did to make it draw the same angle in all of them? We don't get the same angle anymore because they now know that they're different widgets. But we're not going to worry about that. That's fine. Because like I said, this is not, being zoomed out this far and rotating something like this is not really the use case for this. It's It's more like this. So I'm good with it. Yeah. Okay. This is all good. It's good. Why is this? Oh, I see. Quad is casting shadows sometimes. That's real weird. Does it cast shadows in the game? Low frame rate. Yes. Okay. All right. Thanks everyone for coming by. That is going to be our situation for today. It's been a while since we did a game programming stream. And let's undo. Oh my God, all our light maps are deleted. Why? Okay, we've got to revert some things. In fact, everything in levels. I guess because like we moved all the objects, so the light map system was like, those light maps are no longer valid. Okay. Let's delete our P3 test. Okay. And commit. Okay, so we've got, why did we change the icon? That must have been from a while ago. Let's revert each of these things. Okay, draw, enemy panel, manips, player control, raycast. What was in player control? Okay, that's just a comment change that I did. And didn't check in. It's not part of this, but we're going to let it be part of this. Okay. Can edit stuff on wrapping worlds. Boom. Several hours for a 6-word commit comment. Okay. Not sure what happened to the sub button. It kind of glitched out. You know, you're subbed. You have a star there. Thanks for subbing. You'll be able to get access to the secret elite Discord lounge. Any remaining braid code in here? There might be a little bit. I'm not sure what, but there probably is. Okay, thanks everybody for coming by, and yeah, this was productive, and we'll probably do some more sometime soon. Let's see. We haven't raided anyone in a while, so we're gonna have to see who to raid. Not Twitch rivals Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Let's go to let's go to Science and Technology. Oh, let's do Andy again, because we rated him a while ago, and we'll do that again. Thanks everyone for coming by. Why did you re me? Don't re me. Don't re me, bro.